It will take a while. Yeah, now it's on. Hi everyone and welcome to our Friday Lightning Talks. Today Pavel will share his excitement about React hooks and how use them for state management in React. Over to you, Pavel.
Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about state management, and let me share my screen. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. One note: my presentation may contain gifts that are independent of the slides. I added them to people who will not understand what I will be talking about because it will be more technical presentation. And let's get started. State management in React.js, it means control of the state of one or more user interface, such as input or text fields or buttons and so on. When we are developing application, we often need to use state in components. For example, if you want to show current time accurate to the minute, we should change state for our component every minute because we want to display right time all time. It's not a problem. We can create component with its own local state but what if we want to share our state to another component or between components? Today we can use high order components for it, but in big application we can have wrapper hell. On the screen we can see not a bigger wrapper hell, but it can be more bigger. I spoke about it in my another Lightning talk. Also, we can use render props, but in large application we will see the similar situation, but now we will see wrapper hell in our code. The next, what we can do it's use React context. React context allow us to define provider that can contain data that can contain data or not data or whatever we need, and provide us consumer that can get data from provider in components 3.
I just wanted to say that this GIF explains it very well.
The GIFs not haven't any depends on slides.
Oh, really?
Really, I tried to say it in the start our presentation.
But this particular GIF explains the problem with context very well.
Okay. Let's continue. Also, if you like React hooks, you can use context hook instead consumer. But when we have a lot of providers in large application, we can see wrapper hell too. But the most important problem here it is when data from any provider will be changed, our component will be rendered, and that is not a good pattern for high performance application. And you also can fix it with use providers at specific feature, but with this method, we also create new issue, because what if we want to use data from one provider in another provider? We have to create third provider and get access them. Now I want to introduce the package that can solve previous issue. The package name is reusable. Um, the main idea of the package, it's a great external store that will be contains states, and each component can each component in the application can directly subscribe on change event for particular state. I will show you in example how it works. Now, guys, you will not see GIFs in my example. I'm sorry for it. Um, Imagine we have two components that using our custom hook. In my case, it will be header component and footer component. Let's look at the component. Header component show us only value from on the top, and footer component provide us input field, and we can change value from in the field, and custom hook with initial value. If we change, we can see our components have local states, and if we change something, we didn't see the changes in another component in the header component, but we want to see it, and reusable and it can be fixed easily when I start to use reusable package. The package has latest version 1.0.0 alpha 12, and the first of we need it's wrap our application to reusable provider like this. From reusable provider, we can get from reusable library. The second of we need, we should say our custom hook is a store. The create store function we can get from reusable library too, and after that we can change our value, and we can see changes in another component. Now it works. Now let me add new component that will show us count of spaces in my string and check when component will be rendered. Now we see in our console log render point, and if we change something, we always see the new component is re-render always, because the component get value from our store. Um, Reusable library provide us to fix it, because we don't want to change, to re-render our component, because count of spaces not changed every time, not changing every time. And in my case, I want to render component if count of spaces is changing. We can use for it um, selector, just like the REST hook API. It's just a function. In my case, I want the function is this is. We how you can see, we use our custom hook too, but if we will change something, change our string, we don't see re-render component. But if we press space, we can see re-render. And it fixed performance issues. Very nice. On this slide, you can see a link for reusable repository. And final, I want to say I found the package yesterday, and I didn't have enough time for use it and test the package on real project. But repository has more than 30 stars, and repository has a good documentation with video from another conference, and I got most of information from there. I think we can use it in. We can try to help to develop the package if we will happy to use it in our projects. Since the end, anyone have questions?
Thanks, Pavel. I enjoyed your presentation and especially GIFs. I think they were actually very connected to slides, especially in case of wrapper, hell, and context. Personally, I'm still learning hooks, and I'm using small bits of hooks where component is simple enough, and I didn't have a chance to face a problem where I need to solve shared state with hooks. But this is very interesting approach, probably to test at some point. But it feels a little bit like anti-pattern, to be honest, because the whole idea of hooks and hiding state management behind this hook functions notation is to avoid sharing state and messing with states. But now looks like we go back and figure out how we still can do that with hooks.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, can I just add to that? So, by the way, Pavel, thanks for this amazing talk and the hilarious gifts that definitely add rather than detract from the actual content, which probably to your surprise. But no, it's Yeah, avoiding wrapper hell is great, and obviously that example that's on that slide right there is something that I've not seen that much in the wild, because you start to abstract. You don't need that many abstractions usually. My question is this: if we are using React hooks to its logical conclusion of what it promises, kind of classless state management, do we need React classes? Like, is that even is will that concept become obsolete?
Not sure that I understand the question. Should we use React classes when we use hooks? Yes.
Yeah, so why do we need to use classes at all if we just have hooks, basically?
Because you can.
So what
I,
are the benefits of using both? What are the benefits? What do classes add? So existing React classes add on top of what React hooks promise to do.
I don't know about benefit, but we can use React hooks only in React component.
Right. Okay. I guess that the question is, so React hooks they motivate you to be more functional in your programming style. And React classes are more of a classical OOP approach to things. And one of the motivations for React hooks is to lift state so that you do not need to encapsulate using classes, rather that you just, you have the clarity of functional programming. And so just like conceptually, in your opinion, do you think React classes would become obsolete if we take React hooks to its logical conclusion? I mean, are there
Uh,
repositories, are there projects where classes are no
I want to say about it. I have a small experience with React hooks, but many people using React hooks, and they many people say that they amazing, and all people love that hooks it's a function, and we always know when we pass something, we return always the same result. And for now, I am using classes without React hooks, but maybe uh, we will need to investigate more, and maybe it's a better way to use hooks.
You mean better than using classes?
Yeah, basically the idea is that you don't mix. You can, but
Yeah.
ideally you start a new project and you get rid of all classes. You just start from the beginning using hooks. If you have all the
Yeah.
code base and you start mixing, in some cases it's a class, in other cases it's hook, it may become a little bit hard to maintain, hard to figure out what is going on.
No, when you do that, sorry for interruption, Kate. When you do that, you're that little dog in the kitchen on fire.
All right.
That's exactly what happens when you start mixing them.
Not really, because I mixed them, and we have some examples where we use very small bits of hooks for a certain use case, just to try it out and check if it can work for our case. And at the same time, we have older code base which uses. Sorry. And in other cases, older code base still uses classes, and it works perfectly fine. There's no issue in it, so they don't conflict with each other. It's just from like code structure and cleanup perspective, better to have something better to have just classes or just hooks. I personally enjoy hooks, and the code looks cleaner to me and easier to maintain and refactor when there are hooks. Again, I was involved in some project when we needed to touch the same component few times until we figured out what exactly we want from it to do, how UI should work. And refactoring using hooks was very simple exercise.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Then, in your opinion, does it get rid of classes ultimately?
Yeah. You
Okay,
even can
okay,
find,
good.
just that articles where they walk you through, okay, how you want to convert this component did mount into hook, and this is how you do it, and so on. It's just a bit of waste of time, to be honest, to refactor existing code base.
Yeah.
I don't see a point.
And then the added benefit of using classes at all for any new project, apart from obviously the drawback being the refactoring takes a lot of time and is not functionally necessary. But what is the benefit of in a new project if you have access to hooks to use classes, if at all, if any?
As far as I know, React developers plan to support classes for a long time for backwards compatibility. So there is no issue in using classes. The benefit is that if your team knows classes very well and doesn't have time to learn hooks, then they just can continue using what they know and be successful.
This is really interesting because I remember discussions back like 10 years ago about that JavaScript should ultimately become a functional programming language because that's like what it's, really good at, except that back then it was spaghetti code and nowadays it's called React 16. So it's pretty cool. I like the idea.
Sorry, Pavel, we hijacked your your topic.
It's a good. Also, I can add one point. When I prepared presentation about React hooks, I remember React hooks haven't hook for a couple of states, lifecycle states, for same behavior. Do you understand what I say?
Can you give an example?
I don't remember, but for example, now we have get derivatives props function, but I don't remember name of function that don't provide React hooks doesn't provide hook for same behavior that function can do it.
Okay, it may be the case.
What's an example of that?
I don't remember. But we can open my presentation and maybe we can find the, or we can open React documentation. Probably we need to hop on another call or not?
I have one question. Are there your favorite gifts or just random?
Not random. I get from Giphy.com site.
Okay, thank
from
you.
Here, and it's not random.
It's handpicked Pavel's collection.
Yeah, it's handpicked. So we can close live.
Sure. Thanks, everyone.